this build seems to be pretty good at what this deck is supposed to be doing. Some other cards I've thought about include... Yeah, Tolsmir is new. There are like 5. This has always been a thing in like every green-white Blinky deck I've ever looked at over the years, is that there are just like so many 5-drops you can play in the slot. There's Thrag Tusk, obviously the original, Tolsmir, Verdurous Gearhulk, Cavalier of Dawn, and Tristani are like the 5 that are like the most obvious ones. And those are like all good cards. None of them are like strictly better than the other ones. They're all just good in different ways. I like that Tolsmir gives me targeted removal for certain annoying permanents like Dreadhorde Arcanist. And that it's like a good mix of like being interactive against aggro decks and also just putting a lot of power on board against control decks. So something like Thrag Tusk is a bit better against aggro than Tolsmir is. Something like Verdurous Gearhulk's a little bit better against control because it just like puts more power on the battlefield more quickly. I think Tolsmir's like a mix. It's been fine so far. But anyway, cards I've been thinking about for this deck include just Scavenging Ooze or Thalia. There are not a lot of 2-drops. It's kind of a hole in our curve that I would like to be able to fill. Gilded Goose, potentially, just to get us from 1 to 3 more consistently, because all of our best creatures are like 3 and up. Scavenging Ooze is, yeah, just good. Grave interaction. Thalia makes us like a little bit more capable of beating like a fast combo deck. Explore, again, just like a ramp card, gets us to Asika's Chariot faster, because Asika's Chariots are a main way of killing people quickly. But, I don't know. I would have a hard time bringing this deck into like a tournament with a mixed field, just because I think it has very polarizing matchups, but it's really fun to play. So I'm probably going to ladder with it a bit, although I might switch off to probably the most likely other deck I would be to play would be Arn Huschenbach's blue-black control deck, which just has a lovely mix of interactive spells to deal with all manner of thing. This is the kind of deck I'd feel more comfortable bringing into matches against pretty much anyone. Even if it's not as fun as, like, I don't know, a match I played earlier where I just milled out Green-White Company. They played a great henge, but by then I had so many different Yorion loops going that their entire deck was incapable of breaking through. And they did play their entire deck. Oh, I love how fast the ladder is. Have you been playing that build, Zaker? Wow, this hand is really good. Love this hand. Another thing I've thought about with the with this deck is just trying to cut, like, it down to 60 cards. You lose Yorion, which is a big deal, really big deal. But at the same time, you gain access to just more consistent draws, more Llanowells, more Ephemerate, more Esika's Chariot. The kind of core of the deck comes through more consistently. Alright, so opponent had that Bone Crusher, but is now stumbling, and we are almost certainly about to run them over. If they're a Pawns the deck, as the Knotwold Slumberbound sort of implies, they're not going to like your Yasharn coming down. Are we Ponza? Yeah, we're Ponza. Nice Goblin Ruin Blaster. Good luck with that. Good luck with that plan, opponent. I'm sure it's going to work out real nicely for you. To be fair, if they'd actually hit their 3rd land on curve, they wouldn't have had Llanowells yet, right? They missed a land drop. Yeah. They play a Ruin Blaster on turn 4, which actually is the fair time to cast it. If they had the Elf on turn 1, this could have been more difficult. But this continues not to be a winning plan. I should be doing that, like, post-combat or whatever, but I don't care. They're very, very dead. It's hard to think of any earthly way to come back from this. Yep. Cool strategy, bro. Or sis. Okay. Well, Yashar makes this matchup kind of a walk, but we only have 3 of them in our E-card deck, so it's not guaranteed. What else can we do? Baffling uncleans the Llanowar Elves, but is pretty bad against most of their stuff. Redain doesn't hit Stone Rain, doesn't hit Ruin Blaster, does hit Primal Command, which I assume they're also playing. I probably just cut a bunch of my expensive spells because my cheap spells will just outvalue them, and we want to make sure we don't get stuck with a bunch of expensive junk in hand. So let's trim. Thragtusk. Beekeeper, good evening. Doing pretty well. We're just beating up on Ponza a little bit, which is always satisfying. And yeah, let's just add some solid cheap cards. Something like this seems pretty okay. I don't want to completely abandon 5s, but get rid of those. Just bring in some cheap stuff. So, if they go turn 1 Llanowar Elf, turn 2 Stone Rain, turn 3 Stone Rain, we probably lose, except for now I have a Llanowar Elves, so maybe not. And they mulligan, which is especially awkward when so many of your cards are just like trying to deny your opponent resources rather than advancing your own plan. You don't want to be doing that sort of thing. There's a world where I could like try to just play basic lands and hope to draw more basic lands in order to stop like a Goblin Ruin Blaster or something from getting me, but I don't really care enough to think about that. Oh, and our opponent's just missing land drops again, which is tough for them. They do have my sympathies. I guess they might have a stomp. It's not gonna matter. Let's just draw more cards, make sure we hit all our land drops, and if we hit all land drops, our spells are gonna be better than theirs and we're gonna win. Abundant Harvest also pretty good in this kind of matchup, I guess. Alright, now we can be Ruin Blaster proof, which is fun. Okay, nice warm-up game. Sorry, Ponza, it's not a strategy designed for this format. That puts us to 21-3 so far with this on the ladder. But as I said, I'm conscious that there are matchups we probably can't ever win, and I just haven't run into too many of those yet. Y'all might have seen one on Tuesday night when we hit Teamer Clover. I was just like, nope. Nope, never beating an Escape to Wild stack. But if you enjoy Blink-type strategies, I definitely would recommend giving this kind of list a try. It's really fun to play. Can't keep that. This is better. I'd probably just dump Harvest, because I kind of have a little bit of everything I want already. Yeah. 3-Bit Inspector has the potential to draw multiple cards here. How high do I rate Harvest? I mean, I'm not sure how high do I rate it means. Like, it's a powerful effect. I think it's like, you know, a very good cantrip that's available in Historic. Barkeye Troll, huh? Interesting. Like, is it better or worse than Brainstorm or something? I don't know, depends on the deck. Zakarum, I don't think Semester's End is very good. Semester's End is like a Yorion, except for that you don't get anything out of it if you have no creatures in play, and you don't have it as a companion. I don't know. Like, I feel like any board where you're winning with Semester's End is probably a board you were doing just fine in already. Alright, so I think here I would like to start with Spellbinder over Apparition. I'd like to cut off my opponent's turn 4 play, ideally, and then block one of their Barkite Trolls. Decisive Denial. Scavenging Ooze. So this is the card they're probably not playing this turn, so I think I'm going to take it away because if I just take Scavenging Ooze, they can just play Scavenging Ooze anyway. Whereas if I take Decisive Denial, maybe in a future turn they want to double spell with this or hold it up, and it's much more awkward to do so this way. Better than Opt. It's much better than Opt, I would say. Seems considerably better than Opt from how I've been playing it so far, but... Alright, so I would love to hit some lands. I think just keeping our opponent off the board is going to make sense here. Yeah, I've come to respect the Tainted Pact combo deck a little bit more. I've been seeing Squash Eve play his version, and it's looked better than the version I was playing with before. Oh, this one have another Decisive Denial? Neat. Okay. Alright, they're coming in pretty hot. If we don't draw a land next turn, we might be in trouble. We can still Charming Prince gain 3, and then we have Ephemerate up, which is, like, still pretty good. Although Steel Leaf Champion's tough. Alright, now we're probably screwed. I don't really know how we're going to get through this one. Let's gain 3. Yeah, deck works pretty well when we get our 4th land. To be fair, we did keep Three-Bit Inspector over Ephemerate, we get both Three-Bit Inspector and Ephemerate over the Abundant Harvest that easily could have hit us our 4th land drop. This is probably a case of me underestimating how good Abundant Harvest is and just being like, yeah, I should actually just play Abundant Harvest. So double block this troll. If opponent goes for Decisive Denial, I get to use Ephemerate, counter it. If opponent knew what we were playing, they would definitely decisively deny the Three-Bit Inspector here. I guess it actually doesn't matter since I save my prince no matter what happens. Okay, if opponent's down to do this, I'm okay trading with Troll. I mean, Steel Leaf Champion's a big concern, no doubt. Old Growth Troll also a big concern. I guess we're just dead, right? Yes, we're certainly dead after that draw. Alright, this is the kind of deck that we should just, like, eat for breakfast if I ever hit 4th land drops. And I do plan to hit some 4th land drops here. Baffling End comes in. Tolsmere does not actually seem that impressive. It's expensive and does not actually kill stuff with its tokens that I need to kill. I probably cut these, and I probably cut just Raven Inspector. In games where Raven Inspector's body is like wholly irrelevant like that one, I tend to cut it. Matchups, that is. Alright, but again, my own fault there. I mean, we didn't know what our opponent was playing. I still think probably just keeping Abundant Harvest and grabbing a random card of the deck of whatever type I happen to need was going to be better than a 1-2. Sure. Little land heavy, but it's fine. Getting Charming Prince down early is not so bad because you can form Yorion loops with it later, which is always nice. We're just going to go ahead and scry. No double triggers card. Are you talking about Panharmonicon? Panharmonicon is a 4-mana spell that doesn't do anything in the turn you cast it, which is kind of unacceptable for Historic, unfortunately. Tree Ordain's good. I like Tree Ordain. Yeah, I love Panharmonicon. I played a heck of a lot of Panharmonicon when that card was in Standard, but I don't think it's especially good. Yeah, this hand is just chock full of redundancies, huh? What do I take? I want my opponent to play Old Growth Troll and not Priomite this turn. Boy, Elite Spellbinder is one of those cards you have to learn to play well, and I feel like learning to play it well really is going to have a good effect on your win rate. I feel like I just take a Troll. They have so much choice about how much mana to play for Priomite, it's like such a cheap spell. Airball P, yes. Demonic Pact at least Demonic Pact does things without you needing other cards to go with it, but it still sort of has the same problem. Anyway, yes, I have been playing some Demonic Pact, and so far it's been fine. Almost beat Rogues, beat some other stuff. Since the last stream we played Abzan. I feel like Sultai might be a bit better, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, we're just going to scoop this Old Growth Troll right up, and Yeah, let's just pretend we're the beatdown deck here. Opponent needs to keep the Sues around anyway, so they can actually cast Primal Might. Jofu! Heh. We'll see. We'll see. It was a long, hard road to get there in the first place. And it takes a lot of work to keep it up. Sure, another Spellbinder, that's pretty cool. Opponent's got... I really have no idea what this is. They've got something, because they didn't cast Primal Might, so... My best guess is Night Pack Ambusher? I'm gonna guess Elite Spellbinders to see what the heck is going on. Oh, Collected Company. Well, that makes much more sense. Why did I say Night Pack Ambusher? Oh, also, that was a really good Collected Company, and I guess we're probably dead. Ronus the Indomitable is, I guess, a card we have a bunch of answers to, but not in this particular hand. Elite Spellbinder, also a good candidate for the kind of card you would take out in this matchup. I guess I could have attacked last turn. Maybe I was supposed to attack there. Yes, Genesis, this is true. This is definitely true. Unfortunately, I think after that Collected Company, our opponent is no longer confused. Oh, so they're just going for the double Primal Might move? Ooh, it's a good move. Double Primal Might attack me for 10 is not a thing I'm super well equipped to handle here. We're gonna need like a Skyclave Apparition or something like that. Yeah, Ronus is kind of a gross card, honestly. It's like disturbingly powerful. And now I guess we're just at like dead to Steel Leaf Champion range. We are in fact dead to Steel Leaf Champion. Alright, need to Skyclave Apparition off of this. And Survey says Llanowar Visionary. Yeah, just Steel Leaf Champion literally kills me. Okay. Yeah, I've beaten Green-White Coco a couple times, but Green-White Coco is really bad at Cocoing into 2/5 power creatures. And, yep, back down to 21 and 4. Congratulations, Happy Goblin. Does that mean it's your first 7-0 or your first ever Strixhaven draft? Anyway, back in. I think I punted that first game with my keep. Oh, congrats, Happy Goblin. It took me like 40 drafts to hit my first 7-0 or something like that. Yeah. Gosh. Alright, we're getting some cold opens today. Is this the office? Because a lot of cold opens up in here. At least my lands are very pretty. I enjoy looking at them. I really wish I could make these my default lands. Please, Wizards. Right on time, Llanowar Elves. Right on time. I mean, actually on time, though, because we're going to cast Asika's Chariot, and the next turn we can cast Charming Prince on Asika's Chariot and also put Yori into hand, assuming my opponent doesn't kill this Llanowar Elves. Lunar Gasprint? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. To be fair, our opponent could still just jam, like, a Skyclave Apparition on this turn and eat my Chariot, and then we're, like, a little annoyed, but if they don't do that, they're in a pickle. Wow, sounds like a very good Silver Quill draft then, Happy Goblin. No, we're just doing this. Okay. Huh. If they offer to trade... If they offer to trade Aspirant for cats, do I do that? They're not going to do that, though, which is cool with me. Well, Elite Spellbinder's nice. Let's go with... I think just Spellbinder into Charming Prince, probably. I guess with Charming Prince and working on Spellbinder, I could also just like swing with the Chariot, eat Luminar Aspirant. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I don't think we need to do the Blinky Chariot thing, just because we're like Blinky the Chariot gets us lots of 2/2s, which is fun, but a lot of 2/2s against 2 Luminar Aspirants is not actually a winning recipe, I think. Now, if they take this hit, they're incredibly, incredibly toast. I suspect. Alright, so handful of Skyclave Apparitions. Let's take those away. I don't want my Chariot going away right now. Archon of Emeria, on the other hand, I really don't care about very much. Charming Prince Spellbinder is pretty good. I feel like there's also like a version of this deck that could just be a Coco deck, where you're just running like, you know, a lot of your cards are like pretty standard green white Coco cards anyway. And of course, Collected Company into like Charming Prince plus Elite Spellbinder is a lot of spellbinding. Alright, against green white Coco, my general approach is to cut Yasharn. Is not that great. It doesn't really hit any of their stuff. It's just a 4/4 that gets 2 lands, which is not bad, to be fair. What did I cut against this deck last time? Oh, Abundant Harvest, actually. Sorry. So the reason I cut Abundant Harvest against their deck is because they run 4 copies of Archon of Emeria, and Archon of Emeria makes Abundant Harvest an incredibly embarrassing card to be playing in your deck, because you just can't double spell with it, so it's actually unplayable in the matchup, I think. This is Redain in the sideboard. And then I do want to get a couple of Night of Autumn in against Great Henge specifically. Having 0 answers to Great Henge has been a pain in the butt for me before, so I think we add those and cut probably 1 Yasharn and 1... Graven Inspector, potentially? Graven Inspector is not exactly incredible against them. Let's do that. Could even bring out a 3rd Night of Autumn for one of the Graven Inspectors. Nah, Scrubland. Wall blocks them pretty well. And also I don't know, Wall is just like such an easy card to like, it just is so smooth. Like Graven Inspector is basically 3 mana for a 1/2 that draws a card. Wall of Blossoms is 2 mana for an 0/4 that draws 2 cards, and the 0/4 is better than the 1/2. Shoot. Probably playing too many basics in this deck. Just never get hands like this in a 2-color deck. Alright, keep this, dump a... There's like a crazy part of me that wants to keep both Chariots and dump Night of Autumn, and I think I'm going to do that. I have Elite Spellbinder, which is really good at delaying Henge. But if they have a Skyclave Apparition, they're going to use it on my something before the Chariot comes down, probably. Hey there, Nacrocissa. It is in fact Friday. The day on which you gotta get down. Yeah, we had the same instinct there. Okay, if I could draw an untapped land into an untapped land, that would be really good. No? Okay, that's fine. That'll work. Oh, congrats, iPhone fan. Always good to do your taxes. Sometimes good to do your taxes, you know. Depending on the government in power. Okay, there's going Kazandu Mammoth. That makes me suspect that there is a Great Henge in my future, but I have Night of Autumn for that, so I think we just Chariot them now. Meow, your go. The Skyclave Apparition, this we just get to Tolsimir the Apparition, make a 4/4, which is kind of clean. Alright, buddy, you got a Henge for me? Okay. Perfectly acceptable. Charming Prince is a great draw. Yeah, this is the kind of matchup I want to face. Just give me Gruul, give me Arcanist, give me Company, give me these like value aggro decks, and I will show them who the true aggro value player is. Better be a really good Collected Company there, opponent. You better get a really... Oh, I don't think they had a very good Collected Company, chat. Ah. Well, that feels good. Well, I'm playing them. Or I don't know if you're talking about our opponent's deck is probably tier 1 or tier 2. The deck I'm playing might not be any tier at all, but it's around because I'm playing it. Jollyfly Man, is that an actual deck that's running around? We just played Simic Coco Stompy, but it's the first time I've ever seen anyone do that. My impression was that, like, our opponent's draws were pretty good and ours were pretty bad. But also Roness is very good against our deck? I don't know. I mean, White gives you a lot of really busted stuff. Elite Spellbinder is crazy. Arcanomir is crazy. It's hard to believe that, like, Decisive Denial or whatever makes up for that. Is it playing, like, Brainstorm, too? Like, what's the joke? Oh, I forgot to put more Fabled Passages in this deck. Oops. Oops. Like, the green-white company mana seems very good, and the white cards seem very good, so it's hard to imagine that mono-green is like, or green-blue is going to give you a heavy advantage. Cardboard Live is on, or at least appears to be on. Maybe try refreshing? Oh, that's a great draw. Love that draw. So Sacred Foundry makes me wonder if this is Jeskai. Gear Hulky stuff. Could also be like the Jeff Hoogland Charizard James red-white mid-range deck. Oh, Brad Nelson's playing SCG? Yeah, I mean, just putting counter spells in mono green Stompy doesn't seem bad either. Like, that's we're gonna get Doomscarred? Yeah, whatever. We can Doomscar if they want to. Heart of Kieran's also a pretty good card. I feel like green-based aggro decks have been missing a good 2-drop for a long time, and it feels like you actually probably can just get a lot of mileage out of playing, what do you call it? Heart of Kieran instead. Barkhide Drool's okay, but it is in fact the only one. Alright, so let's... I think we just cast Chariot now. If they have Saw It coming, so be it. They did not have Saw It coming. That's really good. Even if they have Doomscar, now my Yorians just deal 4 damage the second they hit the board, which is sick. Yeah, I mean, vanilla 3/3 probably wouldn't be very playable in Historic for 2 mana. So it's a shame the Tolsmere token's legendary. It means I can't, like, start copying with Chariot. But Chariot can copy clues, which is not irrelevant. Okay. That's fine. Every one of those cards drew me a card. Kind of. Would really love an untap land, just jam Yorion, blink this Chariot. Perfect. Just perfect. 5 mana, 8 power, go. Okay. Solid counter from the op there. Am I doing that again, or am I Tolsmeering this time? Ah, good luck, Jollyfly Man.
You need to become Aaron Gardner
well for you.
That's the goal.
Let's... I think I'll do the Tolsmere. Tolsmere just makes 6 power here, and also attacks for 4 right away, which is pretty good. Like, this threatens lethal, which seems nice. It is fun that if our opponent had any creatures, we could be copying Voja and fighting those creatures. Hi, Wade. Alright. So, Torrential Gear Hulk is solid if you have that. Lightning Helix Tolsimir is also solid, I guess. It gives them something good to do with Gear Hulk. Yeah, I feel like this deck probably goes over the top of us pretty well just because it's hard to build a big board against them. Yasharn's cool. I'd probably go with Yasharn here over Yorion then, just because Yorion has more potential for value later. Also, with all these clues, I really do want to keep hitting land drops. So we're going to keep making clues. If our opponent starts like Gear Hulking Magma Opuses, probably we get outvalued, but I have in fact beaten that kind of sequence before with this deck. Sometimes you can go over the top of that stuff. Lightning Helix is extremely playable. Lightning Helix is one of the very best cards in Historic. Do not mock the Helix. Alright, so I think this is like... I hate having to respect Gear Hulks. Lightning Bolt is not playable, though. Yes, it's not legal. Honestly, I think this turn might just be Yorion. Like, our opponent hasn't shown us a counter spell yet. If they counter this, they can't play Gear Hulk, so I at least get to attack for 4 and make a clue. And this smells like they're really just trying to do Gear Hulk Behold stuff. So we are just going to keep on getting value. Hope they don't have, like, Sublime Epiphany or something in their deck. Some of these decks do run Sublime Epiphany. If they can counter this Yorion trigger, I'll be sad. But they didn't counter Yorion with it, which gives me some hope. Alright, well, then you know the Wrath of God now. Sick. Alright. That is not a bad one to get out of their hand. I might eventually play this deck in Historic some. I do think the whole Jeskai Girl thing looks kind of sweet, even if it's not my typical... Even if I'm not usually like the big mana spell control player. Oh, Yasharn stopping me from sacking clues is a little awkward, but it will not be hard to get rid of Yasharn by just attacking into Gear Hulk if we have to. Okay. Alright, the Grove. The Grove, the Grove, the Grove. So, let's go with... So Skyclave Ration has like no targets in their deck. I guess they might play Narset, but I genuinely have no idea whether they play Narset or not. They could have another Gear Hulk. Another Gear Hulk would kind of mess up this whole attack a little bit. But let's send some stuff in and see how it goes. Probably going to go badly, but we're going to try. Believe we actually make a cat here. I just have so many clues. I would actually like to build out the board a little bit. Okay, opponent did not like Gear Hulk kill a cat, which is nice. Necrosis of that deck was very bad in general. Sick, they hit Yasharn instead of Yorion. I love that. So I keep my flyer and I get to start cracking clues. Seems good. Let's crack a clue first, see what we can find. Spellbinder? No luck. Alright, let's just throw this in hand, be efficient. Okay, so our opponent now has 9 mana. They do have to play the board somehow this turn. Anger still doesn't kill Yorion. Do they have a Gear Hulk for another Lightning Helix? They have something to stop Yorion, I assume. Okay, Teferi didn't come down, that's cool. Electro Brains, we might bring a Knight of Autumn. I know I'm bringing Redain against this deck. Probably don't want Rust of Peace, so yeah, I'll probably bring in some Knight of Autumns. So it goes to 1, that's encouraging. A lot of lands, not as encouraging. Tulsimir is... Yeah, I guess I'll try this. It's just 6 power if it resolves. Ouch! Alright, so this deck plays Jawari Disruption. That's cool. The more you know. Did not expect Jawari Disruption. Wow! Okay, opponent just doesn't have a clean answer to Yorion. And, well, my draw was pretty bad, but Ephemerite's cool. Ephemerate could be good later. So their answer to Yorion here would be like another commit or just playing Wrath of God, and they didn't have either of those things. Nice. All right, free 4/5 flyers. Do the trick. Redain is pretty bad against Anger of the Gods. It's like kind of cute that they're playing Anger in addition to Wrath. I'm still supposed to run this though, I think. And Skyclave Apparition does nothing. They're probably running Narset, but if they have a Narset that's just sitting around in play, we're probably in trouble anyway. So we get Knight, Renains. Tulsimir is not especially inspiring. I think I'd run one more Knight here. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, so this matchup seems like it should be a nightmare. I expect we lose games like that one a large percentage of the time, but if not, that's, you know, heartening.
We need to
draw a lot of
become
cards.
Aaron Girdler tonight, chat. That's the goal.
2 follows to start the evening. Remy Carroll, sorry I missed you for a few minutes there, but thank you for following, and thank you also Loxarus. Loxarus. However you say it. I like desperately want this deck to be good. I should probably mention that. I desperately want this deck to be good. I love playing it. Oh, do I still have the hot take up there? I probably should have taken that down. But Nerdy Steve, I don't know. Do what's in your heart. I do. Well, I'm definitely... My first attempt at a hot take was kind of a disaster. If that helps you decide at all. One way or the other. Alright, so opponent has gotten Wrath. Let's, well... Let's delay that one by a bit, shall we? Alright, chin-ups are in your heart. Well, after this match, everybody make sure I do chin-ups after this match. Or I guess during sideboarding if we go to sideboarding. Alright, so my play this turn is likely to just be Yasharn. They have Jawari Disruption. I think I hold Llanowar Elves back. That way I can cast Yasharn, potentially hold up Ephemerate or Jawari Disruption mana. Cool. How many chin-ups? We eat as many as I can do reasonably without feeling like I'm going to imperil my performance for the rest of the stream. Okay, works for me. Works for me. Ooh, Thragtusk. Thragtusk is pretty fun with, against Wrath of God. And Ephemerate and such. Although, if they just counter this, how do I feel about that? Another thing I could try to do is just get Charming Prince down, because Charming Prince with Ephemerate lets me save some stuff from Wraths, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I think I want to slay roll the Thragtusk a little bit. Try to get it down with a safe Ephemerate and not get it countered. Let's swing in with these two. I'm not going to swing with Llanowar Elves because they could just kill it with Castle Ardenvale, which seems not ideal. And we'll jam Charming Prince. Blinking. I'm just going to blink Llanowar Visionary here. If they Lightning Helix the Visionary in response, it's whatever, because, you know, it would have just died to Wrath of God anyway. And let's play our land. We're going to draw some cards here. Interesting. That's implies they have something better to do than just wrathing this turn. I wonder what that is. Can't Tef. They can Wrath. Okay, well. Let's do this then. Blinking Charming Prince. Exiling Llanowar Visionary. I think I want the extra cards more than I want Redain still in play. Because I don't think a Teferi is going to like provide too much pressure. The other good thing is, of course, that now I get to Ephemerate the Visionary again and draw another card. This is kind of just like a fancy Village Rites, but it feels way better, and it feels way cooler to do this. Alright, we're solidly ahead on cards. I think this is a good time to just go harvest for a non-land. Slam Thrag Datterson. So I guess if they... Yeah, the fun thing is we make a 3-3 this way even through Wrath of God. Opponent has Tef. Presumably has something like Tef and then Helix the Thragtusk, which could work. We could just die to a Tef and play, given that they have access to lots of removal they can cast here. Teferi is a card our deck doesn't like to see. Because we're not that good at applying pressure on demand, but we'll try our best to beat it. If they're going to do something about Thragtusk, do I want to hit them for damage? I don't think so. I think Tef's loyalty is like... Oh. Well, I didn't expect that to work, but I'm glad it did. Interesting. No Lightning Helix, you say? So do I just keep drawing cards? I feel like I might want to save this for after Yorion comes down, perhaps? Like, I'm assuming their next play is going to be another Wrath here, given that they didn't have any protection for Tef and their hand has like 4 cards in it. If I Prince the Thragtusk, we get more offense going, which could help us get through a Gear Hulk. But I kind of think it's just going to be Wrath. Okay, I think I like the idea of Visionary first. Oh, Elite Spellbinder is great. Love Elite Spellbinder. Let's see what's up over there then. No Jawari Disruption for you. Okay. They did see it coming. And do I inspect? I kind of don't... Inspecting does put them dead, technically. If they don't have Wrath or Anger or anything, which is like kind of cute. It would be nice to be able to blink this later. I think I wait. Like, I just feel like they must have something in their hand that will deal a bunch of damage to my stuff. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh, the follow-up 3-3. If they have a follow-up Tef to go with this, I'm in trouble. They do. Mismatch Teferi's. Gosh, that's tilting. Uh-oh. Yeah, the Anger of the Gods just makes this matchup an absolute nightmare. Just having to play against somebody who's also got the other sweeper that dodges Redain and stuff is brutal. Okay, so I think we just go inspecting. And I'm trying to figure out how resilient I can possibly be to a Wrath here. I guess I could have just played Yorion out this turn if I really wanted to dodge another Anger. Or get through a Gear Hulk. Alright, I think we go... Let's crack the clue here, actually. Okay, so let's just go with Charming Prince, Blink Thraven Inspector. Memory Lapse hits Charming Prince. Okay, well, they're down to 1 card now, so I think we just try and put another creature down that can hit Tef. Be nice to save this for a Gear Hulk, but I don't have any expectation that we'll actually be able to do that. So if they have another Wrath, I'll probably just move on to game 3 from here against active Teferi and you know, a deck full of Gear Hulks. I don't think we have much hope. All right, I mean, Gear Hulk still kind of clowns us, I guess. Well, actually, they have no removal they can flashback, so Gear Hulk, if they don't have Gear Hulk and Helix, we're fine. Because we can at least kill Tef. So let's take a shot at that. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work. Or maybe they'll also be playing Settle the Wreckage, who knows. Okay. Alright. Alright. Take those. Still don't think highly of our chances, but this is cool. This is nice. Alright, a Bjorn. I imagine so. They might also be prepping a Gearhulk to kill this. Maybe a Charming Prince. Yeah, let's actually Charming Prince. Let's keep a little small ball here. Blink 3 of Inspector, draw another card. Ironically, with how this is going, I was gonna say we could have maybe ignored the Teferi, the first Teferi, and just attacked our opponent to death, but they had this Castle Ardenvale, so that was not gonna happen. What is in their hand? Their hand seems incredibly awkward. Or they're just like really saving up this Gearhulk to do something devastating to me. But you'll have to show me, opponent. You'll have to show me that that's what you're gonna do. I'll give you a chance to counter this thing. Memory lapse. Alright, so they've still got Gearhulk as a potential option, but then I get to resolve a Yorion, and Yorion hits them pretty hard, so I think we're going in. And am I sandbagging Yorion here? No. Now that our opponent's at 4 life, I'm like kind of down to sandbag Yorion, then just next turn I just play 2 4-power creatures. Sounds good. I just think they're holding a Gearhulk and trying to really get as much value out of it as they can. But at the moment they can't afford to both Wrath and Gearhulk, or even Anger and Gearhulk. So they are pretty dead. So if I just Sharn, so if I attack, they just play Gearhulk, they lose. They need 2 things. If they have 2 things like Gearhulk plus Helix, I feel like we would have seen it by now. Because they missed a land drop before too, so let's just head him and see what happens. I was thinking about fancy plays where I try to like bait the Gearhulk with Yasharn, and then blink Knight of Autumn or something, but I should probably just try and kill them. Okay, it worked. That was confusing. I guess their hand was just full of counter spells. Duckless here, you'll get an email from Wizards in a couple of days, well before the thing. Anyway, it's time for me to do some chin-ups, I think. So let's get that going. Right, alright. Full screen camera, media, image capture, window capture, video capture device. There we are. Alright, full screen chin-ups for Nerdy Steve, which we're going to... Oh, we need to delete the filter, right? Never mind. Never mind, hold on. I always do this, and I have to rewire the camera, so it's not worth it. So, let's go. Alright, we're gonna go for 12 for you, Nerdy Steve. All right, well, I felt those. I felt those. It is hot today in Southern California, if you can believe that, chat. A hot day. Whew. Ouch! Well, I hope that gets better at some point, Econometric. Yikes. God, why do I keep forgetting to put those Fabled Passages in my deck, chat? I need at least one of these to be another Fabled Passage. This hand is so awkward. I think I keep it, though. It's got lands and spells. We'll see if I draw another white source before I pull the Emergency Abundant Harvest out. Alright, so odds are this is probably... That Fabled Passage of Term was probably dumb, right? Because now I need to hit an untapped white source. I did. So yeah, this is probably the Pact combo deck if they're playing Dimir cards and Mazemind Tome. And just a word of warning, chat, we can't beat Pact combo. Nearly sure we cannot beat Pact combo. We do not interact with their combo at all. And Green-White Company can beat them because Green-White Company has Archon, which I do not. We might be able to kill them with Seaga's Chariot if they don't have enough interaction for it. But that's still kind of slow. I'm not going to try and play around a counter or anything. We're just going to try and kill them as fast as we can. Yeah, I will say what I will say in Pact's defense is that Pact both can beat decks without counters and can also beat people who are not good at playing their counter spells. Like I watched Squatch Chief play a bunch of matches, and in many matches his opponents were playing blue decks that could counter what he was doing, but their decks just kind of fell apart and didn't do very much in a lot of cases. Alright, so we're going to kill Bolas immediately with Tolsimir. So I think we just exile a cat. Yeah, just exile a cat. Keep our lands and cards in hand. Tolsimir come in real handy here. Also, this looks like it's probably not the Pact deck, but we'll have to see them play some kind of duplicate spell before we can know for sure. For those of you wondering why I would copy a 2/2 instead of 3/3, keep in mind the 3/3 is legendary. Deck is still looking very singleton over there. I still don't know exactly what's going on. Let's just keep hitting land drops with this Yasharn. That was a weird creature to target with that spell. Opponent is still singleton. I feel like they're supposed to wait for me to crew this chariot and then hit the chariot, but what do I know? Oh, this could absolutely be usual to Grixis. I'm just saying, you can't really tell because the singleton Grixis decks play all sorts of random cards, and so far opponent has not played a double of anything, including their lands, I think. Clearwater, Riverglide. Oh no, they played two Riverglide pathways. Never mind, they're not back combo. Oh, okay, usual Grixis probably can never beat us because they don't have to ferry. So let's just go with Thrag Datterson. It's definitely not Pact Weed. As I said, they have double of a land in play, which Pact is not allowed to do, yeah. Also, they scooped a Thrag Tusk, which I'm pretty sure Pact doesn't do, but Grixis definitely does. Freaking Grixis, man. So this hits Mazemind Tome, which is, I guess, kind of cute. That's probably the only card that hits in their deck, unless they run Narset, which they might. But I still feel like this is the easiest thing to cut. Bring in some Redains and a Knight of Autumn, which hits Tome, and also it can be a 4/3. I also probably bring out Wall of Blossoms here, actually. Bring in more Knights of Autumn, maybe one. Yeah, if we get through Wall of Blossom, and it's really nice that it's like a free card to exile to Bolas. And also just turns Ephemerate into 1 mana draw too, which is something our deck just needs to do sometimes. Sure, on the draw, fine. I can kill Llanowells pretty well, which makes this keep very risky, but I didn't come here to mulligan against a Thoughtseize discard deck. Valky, God of Lies. Is Valky going to take a Wall of Blossoms? It would not surprise me if Valky's choice was to take a Wall of Blossoms, no Spellbinder. Fine. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, love Abundant Harvest here. Thank you, Abundant Harvest. Yeah, for those asking if this card is just a better opt, this card is way better than opt. Way better than opt. It's like, how many cards are we gonna miss before we hit the land there? I forget what we looked at, but I feel like we were gonna miss a lot. Okay, so we get Sunpetal Grove, we get just Slam Chariot. See if Grixis can memory lapse this or whatever. Oh, I didn't keep Ephemerate up, which was obviously a punt. Should at least be keeping the right lands up to cast my spells. I wouldn't say that's accurate, Necrosis. A Boomerjun can actually win games of Magic, which I don't think I've ever seen Grixis do. Aside from against my Velomachus Lorehold combo deck that someone convinced me to try. Yep, that on top. Alright, so if one has like a Bolus now, I guess we're in trouble. Double Ether Gust on the Chariot hurts. Definitely hurts. Oh, is Grixis deck without a Bolus? That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Alright, well we're just going to keep trying this. How many more Ether Gusts are they going to have? Alright, regular counterspell. Fine. At some point here, I probably should have just tried to draw a bunch of cards off of Wall of Blossoms, but I was trying to live the Chariot dream, and now I know exactly how many counterspells our opponent brought in against us. A lot of counterspells. Grix is normally not known for having quite that much counter magic. Is this? Okay, wait. Oh, so this is... Oh, alright, yeah, no. This is not Legend Rule itself, as long as it's done the thing. So that's cute. Yeah, and they gotta take my card draw spell. It's not terrible, I guess. We're not in any actual danger of dying, though, and Landward Visionary is an absurdly good draw with Ephemerate. These Night of Autumn's looking hella weak, though. I guess now that I know they're playing Valky, I'm supposed to bring the Skyclave Apparitions back in. With the Night of Autumn's doing life gain, we're in no danger of losing to this. And if our opponent ever lets loose for a second to do like a Dragon God, we get to Ephemerate and start drawing millions of cards, which is pretty cool. Alright. We're probably still losing to the Bolus because we don't actually have any offensive pressure because we got tempoed out a bunch of turns in a row, but we're trying. We can have a Night of Autumn. I will miss out on 1 damage to Bolus, but I do want to draw another card. If I can find, like, land plus Thragtusk, we could be in this. Redain. Redain's a little late, unfortunately. A little late. Also, having seen my opponent's configuration, I'm not even sure Redain is particularly good. But anyway, let's, I think I just smack Bolus, drop a 4/3, hold Ephemerate for it. This is probably not going to work. We're probably going to lose here, but we'll get him in game 3 on the play. And with better cards in my deck than the ones we're playing now. I think we get rid of Elves here. Mazemind Tome I don't care about. Okay, opponent's now bought into protecting this Bolus, which is good for me, I think. Should I play Valkmira Protector Shield here over Redain? I'm kind of into it. Maybe that's wrong, but I'm kind of into it. It means they can't kill this Night of Autumn. Necrosis, I just noticed that. That's pretty good. I enjoy that. Right. Opponent brought in a lot of Disdainful Strokes. And I'm pretty sure we're dead to this bolus now, because I can't really get through it. Just move on to the next game. So, we've now seen Valky, Disdainful Stroke stuff. I might just bring these back in. Maybe I just cut Redain after all. Just kind of dies easily to removal spells. It stops Extinction Event. We don't even really care that much about Extinction Event. I want Knight and like 2 Apparitions over that, and I don't mind getting Disdainful Stroke that much. I think I'm happy to let them try to do that. I just want to get on board ahead of them. Oh, today's hands have been a struggle. Today's hands have been a struggle. Do I get rid of Chariot against Infi counters? I don't think so. I think I get rid of... shoot. Might just be a land. I have Wall of Blossoms and just hope that works. Could be Yorion as like the biggest, clunkiest card in the hand. Yeah, against Infinite Disdainful Strokes, probably Yorion. Close call. Could see an argument for pretty much every card in that hand. Yes, the thoughts used makes me wish I'd put back a land. If they take Land Revisionary, it's at least a sign they don't have Valky, which is cool. And Charming Prince is a pretty good draw. It's like a 2/2 that draws a card with Wall of Blossoms out. And we drew the Yorion again. Alright, now my choice not to put back a land is looking real good. Feeling real smart today. Maze Mind Tome, sure. Good luck finding time to use that one. Alright, do I Charming Prince and try to get Chariot down next turn, or is Spellbinder? I get a Spellbinder. There's a chance I just draw a land for Chariot anyway. Spellbinder puts more power on the battlefield. And I get to see what's in my opponent's hand, which is all good. All of that stuff is good. I am going to take away the... probably just the Eliminate. Eliminate just lets me continue beating them down with Spellbinder for the foreseeable future. I'm holding up multiple counter spells, none of which do anything against Charming Prince. And the thing I'm going to blink here is Wall of Blossoms. I do want to draw a land. They can respond to this by Ether Gusting Wall of Blossoms, but if they did that, I could just put Wall of Blossoms in the bottom of my library, and that's fine. I do want to actually hit my 4th land drop. There we go. So we're now attacking for 5. If our opponent wants to hold counter magic, they're going to have a whole hard time doing that. Anyway, so Kozilek misses completely. This card is pretty bad. I do not think Inquisition... I mean, it's fine. It's definitely historic playable. I think it's quite a bit worse than Thoughtseize in this format. There's just, like, much more stuff that punishes that than I think that punishes losing 2 life most of the time. And I will slam Chariot here just because it basically stops them from drawing a card off of this tome. Like, yes, they're going to counter it. I don't really care. I have more big plays to make in future turns. There's nothing else I'm doing on this battlefield if I don't Chariot. Okay, so if they have Extinction Event, they pseudo get to clean things up, but it's still not very good. Okay, they can Valky take Yorion, then Ether Gust Tulsimir. Which comes, like, pretty close to being something. Or not. Alright, I'll take Yorion back, thanks. Did you just hit a disdainful stroke, opponent? Yikes! Yeah, I don't really need that one anymore, I think. Alright, well, if they have an extinction event, they're not going to get to cast it, so let's see if they have something else. Alright. Grixis, everybody. Still. Alright, so that's green-white. Probably play like one more match with this deck or something, and then switch over to the blue-black control, see how that feels. Like, we do just keep winning, so it's hard to make too many criticisms about the deck, but that Jeskai match felt like it was one we were supposed to lose. Bruno the numero uno. That's quite a mouthful of a username, but it rings well. It's got a good sound to it. Oh, Fable Passages. Chat, someone reminded me to put Fable Passages in this deck next time. It's fine, we at least have a regular hand here. Sultai! Uh-oh. Sultai could very easily mean some kind of ultimatum deck, which, I did beat ultimatum the last time I played it with green-white, but I don't think I'm supposed to beat it ever. We do not have the kind of disruption that really stops them. We don't even have Grafdigger's Cage. Oh yeah, this is ultimatum. That'll be a fitting way for the green-white deck to end its run on this particular stream, is just getting absolutely smacked around by the deck we can't beat. This we got Migration Path. Migration Path, turn 5, kill me. Languish. Okay. You know what? That's actually fine. I don't mind that at all. I'm supposed to be able to passage there, but no biggie. Alright, opponent, you're on a clock. You're on a clock. Hitting you for 8 next turn. More than 8 the turn after that, if we get that many turns. Okay, I feel like my clock might not matter very much. Opponent cast Explore, but I'm not sure we can beat Explore. Ah, are we gonna brainstorm into Time Warp now? That would be cute. Here's the advanced level question. Are we gonna ban... Is Mystic Sanctuary getting banned from Historic at some point? Is this card gonna get banned? Obviously not yet. Obviously it's not broken anything yet. I just feel like the same things that made this card get banned from Modern are eventually gonna factor into this format as well. Fetch lands or no fetch lands. So the question is, are they just like blue... Are they Sultai turns, or are we gonna get Ultimatum tier? Narset's fine. Okay, they might just be Sultai turns, which would be kind of cute. I can beat Sultai turns, I think. Famous last words. Cool. Alright, forgot to play the correct land again. Oops. Alright, so are we gonna leave Narset at 1 and hit my opponent to 8, or kill Narset, put our opponent to 10? I don't have much in the way of card draw. I think we just put them dead to Tusk Chariot here. That's a close call, honestly. Yeah, I think I just want their life to lower if they're just gonna be throwing birds in my way. Okay, I did crush blue-green turns the one time I ran into it, so let's see if we can do that again here. I just realized they're not playing a companion, but that doesn't mean anything because Sultai Ultimatum in this format doesn't play companions anyway. They're through 2 of their turn spells. not attacking, which is always a good sign. Zuzanunu. I feel like that's murky territory I'd rather not wander into. Alright, hot take here. We'll call this a free hot take. Goodness. I will say, worst to best, Robin, Seagull, Pigeon, Sparrow. Robins are just kind of derpy looking, in my mind. Alright, so I'd rather blink the Chariot than send in the Tusk here, I think, because I expect that my Tusk would just get blocked by a bird anyway, so this only generates a couple of extra points of damage. So let's swing, let's duplicate a... Still think it's a cat over a clue here. It's like Languish I just don't care that much about. Just want to get my opponent dead through layers of... Wow. Okay, so it seems like the opponent's plan is just to combo kill me. We'll see how well that goes. We'll see if that works for him. I left these birds in play because I think they're just trying to get through me. They knew I had a Yorion, so that makes it extremely difficult to combo off with Elrond's Epiphany. Okay, still doesn't do anything. They have enough mana. They don't even have enough mana to go Tameo Time Warp. So I just think this kind of... Yeah, remember that day after the archives were released that people thought blue-green turns might be the best deck in Historic? This is my experience whenever I played against the deck, is that just, if you have any kind of reasonable thing going on your side, it's very difficult for them to get stuff going. Okay, well, Maelstrom Pulse in the Cats is admittedly kind of cute. That will keep our opponent alive if the next card they draw affects the board in some way. It also gives us something reasonable to do with the Tameo. Too bad we didn't have an Ephemerate. That would have been a very funny way to end the game on the spot. Could have Ephemerate Yorion blinked the affected cat out of existence and then got an extra blinks too. Okay, opponent trying to think their way out of a problem here, or is opponent just dead and timing out? Well, I mean, who knows what this deck runs? It might run Tutors, for example. Wouldn't incredibly surprise me if it was some kind of tutor effect, and they're just drinking about if they can get anything that helps. If they're just losing timeouts, they're just losing timeouts for their next game, so I don't especially care. That's possible, but they must be pondering their choices. Remembering all the times they could have stepped away and done something else. Quintorius seems like the good avatar if you want to remember things. Alright, well this is riveting content. Thanks all for sticking by me while we blink people to death. I continue to be surprised by how many games this deck just wins, but it's hard to think if I've ever won a game with this deck that I wouldn't have won with, I don't know, Gruul or Jund. Almost certainly there are some, but... Oh yeah, Econometric, I agree. This is just jerkish behavior. The hard thing, of course, is distinguishing people who intentionally rope from people who get disconnected in some way, because it looks the same either way, but opponents just losing the match on the spot is fine penalty in my view. Alright, well that was fun, but it wasn't a complete match. Let's queue up at least one more with this, get to Plat 2, hopefully. Jellyfly Man, are you just finding out about that? I thought that was a bug that happened the second they did the update. That does sound incredibly terrible for tournaments being played. Alright, mull another one-lander, la 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 la, keep this one. Definitely don't need 2 ephemerates this early. Yeah, it's pretty heinous. Well, I don't know what's about to happen to us, but it seems like this is probably not good news. Naming non-land here so I can get to Skyclave Apparition as fast as possible. And hopefully contain whatever's going on. Yeah, repeating it seems like a pretty easy thing to penalize. Alright, so opponent is, I guess, blue-green or teamer prowess, and they're just running Symmetry Sage, which is a choice. Interesting choice. Alright, 4th land. Nice. Alright, well, Skyclave into Skyclave. Skyclave into Skyclave with Ephemerate backup is probably going to be pretty painful for the prowess deck, if I had to guess. If I had to hazard a guess, I imagine that's not what they want to really see. The existence of Symmetry Sage makes me think they're not Phoenix, because that's like a lot of creatures to run in your deck. Symmetry Sage plus Young Pyromancer tokens is pretty cute. Adds a little bit of power here and there. I like that Charming Prince can buffer our life to it a little bit in this match. Clarmdol, yeah, Teamer is pretty common in the Phoenix decks. Just for Abundant Harvest and some sideboard cards. I mean, Leon Light Scarab is better if you're playing white, which I can see why this deck isn't. Doesn't seem like a great fit. Alright, so do I Yasharn here or do I just Chariot? Yasharn basically does the same thing and also sets up land drops, so I think we just Yasharn. If they play like Memory Lapse in their deck, that's fine. Cool. Yeah, Yasharn's really good. I thought about cutting this card briefly because it like is a little clumsy with 3-Wood Inspector and was stopping me from being confident playing Gilded Goose, but this card is so good. See if the opponent can remove an X4 with any of the cards in their deck. Shock's not going to do it. Prismari Command's not going to do it. Oh, that's cute. That is a thing I can do for sure. Alright, I guess Shock will do it now. That's fine. Second Ephemerate is sick. Love that one. Let's go with, let's just Chariot. Chariot plus Ephemerate's great. We'll kill our opponent really fast, and we've still got Charming Prince plus second Ephemerate to gain us a bunch of life and stay out of Symmetry Sage range. Alright, and do I Ephemerate now? I feel like the answer is no. It feels a little too easy for the opponent to have. Yeah, it feels a little too easy for the opponent to have something. I think we just play it cool, swing with Chariot here. And then blink it with Charming Prince post-combat. Cool. And we've still got Ephemerate to blink Charming Prince and gain 3 life in an emergency. This feels like a pretty easy win for us from here. Nice. Alright, so Valkmira seems pretty interesting into a Young Pyromancer Symmetry Sage focus deck. Seems like that could potentially eat up a lot of our opponent's damage. but it's not like I have that much to cut here, so I might not be thinking about sideboarding too aggressively. Elite Spellbinder loses a little bit of potency against these decks. It just dies to every removal spell they have, it doesn't block well against tokens, and all their spells are pretty cheap, so it's like not incredibly common that it like comes in and breaks up their stuff well. So I think we got Spellbinders. I think I add some combination of Baffling Ends and Redains. Yeah, like 3 and 1. 4 Baffling Ends seems like kind of a lot. Maybe it's not. They're probably running Sprite Dragon too. Zuzanuna, you're referring to my deck or the opponent's deck? Let's try this. My deck. I think my deck is cool. What's cooler than blinking Asika's Chariot? I will have you know I milled out a Greenwood Company player the other day with 24 cats on the battlefield, and I could have had 40 cats if I had bothered. Except for the last few turns of the game, we were both just sitting there drawing cards and doing nothing, because neither of us could attack. Oh, it's probably way too fair for Historic, but I think it has pretty good matchups against several of the most popular decks. So I'm using it as a ladder deck because I really enjoy it. Yeah, it was Scoot Swarm levels of cat activity. Like, if you think you're queuing into a meta full of Gruul Company and Arcanist, this is a deck I could recommend in good conscience. Soul Scar Mage, okay. That's a spicy meatball. Probably should just have all 4 Baffling Ends in, huh? Although I guess Valkmira is still pretty cool here. Yeah, I don't know how this deck would fare against Phoenix. We have 4 Rest in Peace on the board, so it might be fine. But no guarantees for sure. Yeah, we have a lot of ways to remove Drake. 3 Ephemerates. So yeah, this is a thing that can occasionally happen if you draw a bunch of Ephemerates. You really, really strongly depend on having your Ephemerate targets be alive. Fortunately, it looks like we actually have our Ephemerate target living, which is great news. The question is, do I just play Land Over Visionary this turn instead? And I think the answer is yes. I feel like Wall of Blossoms is probably going to continue surviving. I guess Symmetry Sage makes it really awkward to try and block these Soulscar Mages with Wall of Blossoms, huh? Oh yeah, Jellyfly Man. I don't mean you're playing. I don't mean to imply you were playing my deck. I was just thinking out loud about Phoenix because you mentioned it. How has the Rin Simic deck felt to you generally? All right, so okay, that's all right. So they now get to send in a couple of 4/4 Soulscar Mages, which is a lot of damage. That's pretty good. Sorry, Killer Man, what are you talking about? Do I go to 6 here against 2 Symmetry Sages? Probably not supposed to do that. Let's block one of the Soulscars here. I drew Colossus. Okay, so I get to Thragtusk now, which is nice. Yeah, let's just Thragtusk and hope the opponent can't kill it, and then we just get to Ephemerate them right at the tournament. Yeah, it could be Wizard's Lightning for sure. Frostboil Snarl can't possibly be correct. There's no way you're supposed to run this card in this deck. There's just no way. Okay, so I think we just Valkmira plus Ephemerate? Like Valkmira hold up Ephemerate, maybe? Valkmira seems really good here. Actually, it's just Ephemerate now. Okay, and this does not stop my own spells from targeting my stuff. Good. Because even if my opponent kills Thragtusk this turn, we still get to Ephemerate the Land Visionary. Okay, so our opponent drew a land and they're dead. That's cool. Yeah, Ephemerate's very good. Ephemerate is a card that is absolutely historic power level. It'll probably show up in some other deck in this format at some point. And I've been enjoying playing it here. It's been quite powerful. Sure, I'll eat a Clothis. Yeah, our opponent's draw, of course, has been pretty bad, so we're just beating the snot out of them here. But Thragtusk plus Ephemerate can beat some pretty good draws from some pretty good decks. Wow, Jofu, it's a really specific daily quest. Sounds like a good time was had by all. Alright, we ranked up. That's cool. Alright, that's probably enough green white blink for now. We lost one, won like 6 or 7 matches.
We need to become Aaron Gertler tonight.
Seems good. Ooh, we have a new follow. Third follow of the evening. Mop Beeble, thanks so much. Yeah, Ephemerate is certainly one factor that could probably keep Agent of Treachery out of the format. Yikes. Alright, let's switch. I am definitely out of standard practice. Certainly well out of practice playing against Zareth Sand, which is not a card anyone ever really needs to practice playing against. Alright, so I did want to add more Fabled Passages to this because I was getting a few too many hands that had... How do I still not have all the freaking Fabled Passages I'm supposed to have? Alright, last match of the stream, we're going to do a queue up green-white blink for one more run here. We have lost only once with this tonight in Historic. We played a lot of matches, and it's really fun to play. So I'm excited to queue that one up. Looks good. Love seeing mountains. Mountains are really good news for us. Abundant Harvest is also just gasoline, as magic cards go. Alright, Dorat's going to kill us really fast if we can't find something to get rid of it, but Elite Spellbinder does a pretty good job, I think. I'm just going to play that now. I would love to kill this Sprite Dragon. Pillar of Flame, Opt, Finale of Promise. Well, crap. Guess we just have to take Pillar of Flame. Part of me wants to take Finale, but then they just go Pillar Opt, and it's not like Finale is an expensive card anyway. Just make their next turn as slow and awkward as possible. But this is definitely not a good matchup for Elite Spellbinder. Did they draw another removal spell? Or are they just going to pump this Sprite Dragon so big that it doesn't have to care about Elite Spellbinder anymore? That would also be horrible. That thing. Alright, yeah, flyers are a weak spot. I am going to block this Sprite Dragon. It's just going to get bigger. Ephemerate is kind of neat. Let's get another land. Nice. Okay. So we can get our Chariot Ephemerate thing going next turn, maybe. You have Charring Prince for a little bit of life buffer. It's just going to depend on whether they can dig up a bunch of Phoenixes really quickly. There's a chance. There's a chance we can do this. Every time they cast an Opt and don't have Phoenixes in the yard, they're making their future Phoenixes a bit worse. And it looks like Land Visionary might actually survive the turn, which is nice. Cool. Spellbinder. No, pretty sure this is just Chariot. And I think... So they could have a Lightning Axe. I think we pass, see what they do with this turn. But if I can, like, pump the Chariot, I can kill them in 2 hits. If they don't have a Lightning Axe, at least. If they have some number of Phoenixes, I probably just lose regardless. But we'll see. If they're killing a... Oh, using a Lightning Axe here, you say? Okay. And we're discarding a Phoenix, sure. You got it. That's 2 spells. Brainstorm, okay. 1 Phoenix in the yard so far. And a Sprite Dragon makes things a little harder. A little harder. Yeah, I doubt we're going to be fast enough, just because I have this Pillar of Flame to kill Elite Spellbinder, which is horrible news. It was actually... Well, I was going to say revealing our opponent doesn't know what we're doing. Our opponent probably doesn't care what we're doing. So Chariot's out. Take a bunch of damage. Do I cast Ephemerate on Chariot, or do I get the extra damage on my opponent? So my turn is going to be... I basically need to hit a land and go like Spellbinder into Charming Prince, gain some life. Then I go to 7, but my opponent just Pillar Flames the Spellbinder. What if I hit Apparition? That doesn't do it either. Storming Entity is too big. Actually, Storming Entity is about to shrink, I guess. Alright, Storming Entity is about to shrink, so I might be able to win this. I am not going to rebound this. Drew another Chariot. That's curtains, right? Charming Prince, I go to 7. I'm just dead in the air. Alright. That was pretty close. That's pretty close. Have we been on the play? I think we win that one. And this is a matchup where you just bring in some Rest in Peace. And probably not this. Spellbinder does just block flyers, which is pretty important. It's not that good, but it does block flyers. Wall of Blossoms is pretty awful. Yasharn's not very good either. Something like this, maybe? This matchup seems on average tough. It's just super dependent on what's happening on their side. Alright, we have the Rip. That's a good start. Rip and a Spellbinder and an Apparition. Those are all really good. And probably wants to hide this, but it's not like I have many very good plays this turn anyway. Let's just inspect. Next turn we get Spellbinder, turn for that we can maybe Rest in Peace, plus Charming Prince or something like that. I like the idea of my opponent having Phoenixes in hand and playing their cantrips to try and set up Phoenix, not knowing that I have Rest in Peace. But of course they can just start jamming Phoenixes on turn 3, so it's not the easiest thing to stop that from happening. Let's go Spellbinder. See what's in their hand here. Looting Pillar, Lightning Axe, Shock. Let's I guess I'll take... That doesn't really matter that much. Alright, I guess I could have taken Looting just as it stops them from ever getting Phoenixes into the yard here. And if they do have a Phoenix, they can in fact Shock plus Lightning Axe their way to get me, but they would need to have a Phoenix in their top 3 cards for that to really get, for me to really get punished. And given that they don't know we're going to be able to turn off Phoenix, Faceless being just kind of awkward card disadvantage for them. So I don't mind them going for it. Okay. Yorion does die to Lightning Axe, but it's still kind of awkward for them to get through. And once we're blinking a couple of Charming Princes, that's a lot of potential life and other nonsense. Alright, raw Phoenix. Okay. Ooh, Ephemerate's cool. I like Ephemerate a lot. Let's, I'm gonna try and hold out a little bit for... Yeah, let's just scry to... I really want to hit a land next turn so I can go... That looks great, yeah. Really want to be able to go Yorion Ephemerate next turn. So scrying that land up makes a lot of sense. Then we'll go ahead and blink Inspector for another clue. If they run Borrower, Jofu, probably not. Like I have not often seen Borrower in Phoenix lists. Just a naked Stormwing entity. Alright, this seems like a pretty good position to be in. If they attack with this 2-2, I'm not going to block it because we do just have Yorion for next turn. So they should have attacked with the 2-2, but whatever. I'm glad they didn't. So plan here is we're going to get the Inspector and Princes back. One of the Princes is going to blink the other Prince, the other one's going to gain me 3 life. The reason we're doing it this way is because if I blink Yorion, Yorion can't block anymore. I would like the opponent to feel incentivized to Lightning Axe the Yorion, at which point we Ephemerate it. And they can't even respond by killing with another Lightning Axe, so that's like a pretty good place to be. Opponent realizes something might be up, but do they really know what's up? Do they really know what's up? Oh, they're just trying to figure out whether to cast this for 6 mana. Nope. Hey, Kanye. We're beating down Phoenix with green-white blink is what's up. It's pretty thrilling. Pretty thrilling. Yeah, you're too big brain for me sometimes, Kanye. Alright, anything about that matchup made me feel any sort of way. Bleak up. I thought it might be something like that, but I'm like, I don't know. Darn, is Rest in Peace even good? Rest in Peace is probably good. You just never wanted to row 2. I'm happy having 3 in the deck exactly. Yeah, I'm just going to assume our sideboarding was perfect. We'll just keep this. I mean, isn't that how I play around everything? That's my playstyle, Kanye. I no-sell you. You have no path. You have no line. I'm not going to let you have a line. We'll gladly miss lethal if it means you have 3 more turns of not being able to do anything. I don't know. What tools is Phoenix supposed to have for that is my question. Genuinely don't know. Alright, this hand has multiple Skyclave Apparition, which handle many of their threats, and potentially turn 3 Chariot with Ephemerate backup, which is pretty cool. Alright, second Land of Elves, not the end of the world either. Alright, opponent's burning through their cheap spells early on. I don't mind that. Wall of Blossoms. Are we doing that? I kind of think I am doing that, just because it goes really well with Ephemerate in case I just desperately need to hit land drops, which it looks like we might. It looks like we might, in fact, need that. If everybody like jams a Phoenix here and we don't hit a white source, we're probably dead. But, alright, Storming Entity is also pretty dangerous, frankly. we just need to actually hit some lands here. We're in some trouble. That's not a land. Alright, let's try for Ephemerata. Come on now, come on now. Even Abundant Harvest would be fine, that's pretty good. Alright, and is it worth the extra? Yeah, I'm sure it is. Worth it to get the extra Land of Elves down. Alright, so Storming Entity is going to kill us pretty quick. We've got Charming Prince for some life gain. We've got Charming Prince plus like additional copies of Ephemerate for a lot of life gain. We've got Thragtusk for life gain. We got Skyclave Apparition, which can handle Sprite Dragon. But our opponent's clock definitely looks quicker than ours at this point. If they have another Storming Entity, I'm probably dead. I should probably run some Deck and Stone in this deck. Deck and Stone might well be better than Baffling End. Does hit a nice wide range of things. I'm not really worried about my opponents outvaluing me in the long game, per se. Oh. Well, Tolsimir is kind of an interesting card. It does just fail if our opponent has any kind of instant or sorcery, because we just don't get to kill Storming Entity, so I think we wait on it and just go Chariot this turn. I think that's the move. Opponent has Negate. Alright, well, if that was one of the cards they were holding, maybe we could have gotten him with Tolsimir. Too bad. Do I just Ephemerate to keep hitting land drops? I feel pretty obligated to do so, yeah. Let's see. Okay, Thragtusk not bad either. So the Ephemerate's just cycling is not the worst. Opponent tops. Don't like that. Sweltering Suns is an interesting choice. I mean, now I desperately need mana even more, but we'll see. Charming Prince still gains life, and Tolsimir could still get him. Eventually. Gosh, alright. Well, do I Charm? I think I Charming Prince to Scry now? I just need to make sure I'm hitting lands. Don't think we want the Land of Elves. I definitely want that land, though. So let's go ahead and Ephemerate the wall. Alright, Thragtusk. If we can just get that 5th land next turn, Tolsimir and Thragtusk could pull us kicking and screaming across the finish line. Faceless Looting's pretty dangerous, though. Oh, discard a Phoenix. Are we dead? Land. Oh, we're probably dead. We're probably dead. They just need any 1-mana spell. Alright, well that's disappointing. I still think this matchup feels pretty close based on how those games went. Like, we, just missed land drops a bunch and died. If we had hit a 5th land a bit earlier for Thragtusk, I think that Thragtusk and, you know, being able to hold one of our Ephemerates could have gotten through them. But that's tricky. It's possible that Skyclave Apparition... I mean, we're definitely supposed to play 4 of them, we're just not supposed to draw 3 of them in 4 lands. But anyway, I still would continue to recommend this deck for just fun Historic Laddering. I think it's good against a lot of things and plays really interesting games where you do have some decisions to make. And we're currently at a land count of 33 plus 4 Abundant Harvest, plus 4 Land of Elves, plus 4 Wall of Blossoms, plus 4 Showering Prince to Scry, which seems good. It's just sometimes you're going to miss a little bit. Anyway, that's going to be the end of the stream for tonight. Thanks for showing up. We did some winning, a little bit of losing, but learned from it. And I'm not going to do any raids tonight. Y'all can go find somebody if you want to go find them, but I'm just going to go hang with Tammy now. And yeah, probably see you tomorrow morning for a bit more streaming. Probably just more of the Green White Blink deck since I'm kind of really into it. And maybe even a Sunday morning stream since the last one got 500 people and this was a pretty exciting event. Alright, see y'all, chat. Thanks for hanging out. See you, Charizard. And it's Tammy time! Yay, Tammy time. Bye, hello, Tammy. Goodbye to everyone else.